So hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Divine, Rich and Free Life, the place to be to ignite your inner power and lead your life and business with more peace, passion and joy. And today I'm really honored and excited to have a wonderful woman, a woman that is a change maker. She's a leader. Her name is Caroline Shola Arewa. She's a psychologist, wellness coach, yoga teacher, speaker, training, and author known as the Energy Doctor that has transformed life worldwide for more than 30 years with her pioneering and award-winning work. She's the recipient of Outstanding Contribution Award to Complementary and Alternative Medicine, Best Course Awards from Soul and Spirit Magazine, plus multiple awards for service in wellness and personal development. She has inspired, changed, and transformed many lives. One of them is mine. I'm so honored that she is one of my dear teachers. Shola has 5 published books, including the classic Opening to Spirit, which is now, it says 15 years, but it's now more than 20 years that she wrote this amazing work. She will talk more about it in some time. And Shola writes on psychology and wellness for yoga, airline and lifestyle magazines, as well as being interviewed in numerous publications and featured in the acclaimed film Yoga Woman. She has shared a stage with luminaries such as Deepak Chopra and worked with a diverse array of clients such as bankers, lawyers, educators, children and their parents, all who want to enhance their wellness and raise their energy levels. Gaining and maintaining health in body, mind, and spirit is the #1 asset for all of us and a key outcome of working with Shola. That's so true. Shola is a trailblazer in the field of wellness coaching. She loves sharing her passion and has trained over 200 wellness coaches already in 10 countries to use her energy-based integral approach to well-being. Shola's visionary behind Energy for Life Wellness Coaching is a powerful method of supporting people to restore their health and make major lifestyle shift, the result in getting your energy back and your life in track. She is the author of Energy for Life Conscious Living. Shola guarantees that working with her is not only for information, but also transformation. And she all offer with abundance of love and laughter. So welcome, Shola. I'm so honored to have you here. I don't know where to start, but I want you to share your journey, how you got into this work when you were a young woman in the fashion industry, very successful, and your life just shifted from that designer to this amazing teacher that it's inspiring so many people all over the world. So I would love you to share your story. How did you get into this?
Well, first of all, let me just thank you for inviting me onto your show. How did I move from fashionista to yogini? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it was, my gosh, quite a journey. And I think my own personal transformation is really why all of my work now is supporting other people to have that kind of really major shift. But what happened for me, I mean, I loved working in the fashion industry. First of all, it was my kind of purpose at that time, and I loved doing it. But of course, if anybody knows anything about fashion, as much as I love it, it's quite, well, it literally is superficial. That's what it's for. Yeah. It's for the kind of outer layer of our being. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
And also the industry itself is very competitive, very kind of fast, very cutthroat and exciting actually when you're young.
Yes.
But I just think for me, I reached a point where I was quite stressed, quite tired. I wasn't really living my purpose anymore. The things that I was creating, I wasn't creating them from that place of kind of love and passion, which is where I started. But I was more kind of business. You know, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do something else. And And so, of course, if you come from that place, it's going to be much more kind of exhausting. And so I just thought there must be more to life.
Mm-hmm.
There must be more to life. And so I decided to take a journey. When I left, I said to people, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, because obviously I wanted to make sure I covered all the bases in case I came straight back. But as it happened, I didn't come back for 2.5 years. And during that 2.5 years, everything changed for me. And really what I would say was I caught a glimpse of who I really, really am, inside on a deep level. And I would go so far as to say I fell in love with that being and the kind of depth of that. And just from there, from the amazing people that I met, everything changed. Just to say as well, one of the powerful things that happened for me was I found myself saying things like, I don't like this person. I don't like the way that they XYZ. Ooh, I don't like her. Ooh, I don't like him. I don't like how they, and I would kind of have this conversation about things that I didn't like. But then I realized, I said to myself, you know what? That's exactly what you do. That is exactly how you behave. And so I had this amazing opportunity to kind of see myself reflected in things that I didn't like in other people.
Wow. Yeah.
And that kind of really helped me along my transformation journey.
Wow. I always say we are mirrors of each other, and we get reflected from others what we need to be really maybe learning or touching. I think what you said very important at the beginning is that you started this with love, or because of the love and passion you had for fashion, but the moment you didn't feel that love on creating that, there was a calling of your soul or something.
That's
and
right.
then you go into that journey, because I think we are in times as well where people is very much in this society, where we are doing things in autopilot. That was my case as well, as you know, when I joined the training. And I definitely love IT, but my soul was screaming to expressing something else, and it's a journey that we all need to take. But I'm very interested on then when you found yourself, or you started to tap into that real you and that being, what happened when you came back, or what happened along the way? Because you met a lot of important people in your life, or very inspiring teachers along the way. And then what happened for you then when you came back? Who was Shola, or what did you find about yourself, and what inspired you to write this book? Because this has been 7 years of your work, so it's not like a book that was something random. It was a journey for you as well to write this book. So I would like to touch more into that journey back then home and how you transformed.
Well, I think after 2.5 years of being able to really be with myself, to have that kind of inner journey, to fall in love with oneself, with one's inner being, to start to recognize the greatness and the potential and the richness, all those kind of juicy things that we have inside, to have that space to recognize that I had those things within me. So when I came back, I really, oh my gosh, when I got back, anybody who knows me at that time is like, I'm sorry. When I very first came back, I felt like I had the meaning of life. I felt like, you can just glance at me and you're going to get the shortcut to
Yes.
enlightenment. I think I came back thinking I was the Buddha. I kind of sat around cross-legged the whole time and dropped into meditation and kind of, actually, after being away for that amount of time, it was very difficult transition to come back.
Of course, yeah.
I can remember one time I was walking down Oxford Street, and in one of the shop windows, they had all of these mannequins, but they were kind of like electronic. They were moving mannequins. And so I had been living this such a simple life, such a kind of deep but simple life. So all of a sudden I'm walking down Oxford Street and these mannequins are going like this, their legs are moving like that. And it was just, I had to go like this. It was too much. It was just too much overstimulation.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to be in this really quiet and peaceful place. Now, fortunately, I realized that I did not have the meaning of life. I had my meaning of life, or a meaning of life. And what that really caused me to do was learn some more skills. You know, I really needed, that's when I became a psychologist and a group facilitator and a trainer and all of those things, because I needed the skills if I was going to really share with other people and allow people to come into their transformation, which is not mine, it's completely different.
Their journey.
But at first I didn't realize that. I didn't really know that at first. And so then I needed new skills. And so I spent several years as well doing different trainings and kind of really coming to that understanding of how to share this kind of profound work with other people. And because during that time of training, I did so many different things. People would ask me, Shola, what do you do? And I'd say, well, I'm a yoga teacher, I'm a psychologist, I'm a therapist, I'm a group facilitator, I'm a this, I'm a that. And it was almost like I didn't know what to say. And so I thought, I need to bring all of this together. And so it was that journey, it was that kind of last step, if you like, from the outside, from the kind of fashion through to the kind of body work, the physical aspects, the psychological aspects, right through to the spiritual and the energetic. And it was when I came on the kind of chakra system and the energetic level that I was able to really bring all of these things together. But of course, there was so much that I personally was full. You know, I was kind of bursting myself. And it was from that place of fullness that I started to write Opening to Spirit, because I also wanted to understand how these different things came together. And in that desire to know how they came together, I wrote the book. So really that's why I did that. And the book, as you know, has so many different things in it. It has
it's full of depth. I have it here just because it's like a reference manual for like your students, but also many people. I know you get emails from all over the world and people looking for the initial edition of the book. It has beautiful pictures of the chakras, but I think like we are talking about times where, for instance, when you started teaching in yoga, there were not like, it was not so much in fashion or trend like it is today, but also how did you find it was for you, you know, to come, you know, from all over India, then return to the UK and teaching this. And now it's all very much, the wellness is in fashion. We know everyone mostly at least knows about the chakras. Maybe 10 years ago, people was like, "Why are you talking about?"
They might have heard the terminology, you know. So you know, even if you're listening to Ab Fab, they can talk about chakras. But when you say everyone knows about them, you know, the chakras have a real depth.
My God.
So I would think that everyone doesn't know about them. You know what I mean? Everybody knows.
They hear it.
That's right. They might have heard of them. That's right. And also they are so kind of, it's such an in-depth system, which is why I love it. So you know that in the book, there's so much mythology. There's all the characteristics of the chakras so that different people can kind of tap into them from different places. You know, whatever really resonates with them. We're all different. I did learn that eventually.
A journey,
So we're all completely different, and so what the chakra system allows is for us to tap in different kinds of ways. And so that's what I'm really bringing together. So for some people it may be through journaling, for other people it might be the physical aspects, for some people it's more the psychological aspects. So all of those things, you know, there's some people, it's words, you know, maybe mantras. So, you know, it's really kind of bringing all of that richness, greatness, depth together.
Yeah, and I love the energy doctor thing, but also because when we talk about who we are in essence, and everything is energy, right? It doesn't destroy energy. So how do you see the work that you are doing evolving in terms of, because it's so powerful, but at the same time, it's something that sometimes we cannot touch, even if this is energy anyways, right? It's mostly empty space, but in the sense of evolving humanity into a more conscious space, and tapping into bringing this, for me, it's like really a holistic approach on looking at the individual. As you say, we are unique, and everyone, this resonates in a different way, resonates energy. So how do you see now, maybe the next few years, when we are in a way transitioning to a more awakened stage? I do feel, because it has impacted me definitely for the last 7 years in my life, but I do believe, like, people that we are tapped into this energy work, we are sensing there is a transition, and there is a transition for many years. But how do you see people embracing this work, or how did you notice any difference from when you started and the people that you are getting now?
Yeah, it's interesting for me, because I know that 20 some years ago, we talked about a quickening, and we talked about an awakening. And so what I see now, if you like, is the result of that awakening. So now, you know, young people have parents that are more conscious. Those parents have grandparents that are more conscious. So, you know, people are starting out from a place of much greater awareness and understanding. There's also this kind of exponential growth as well. And so, you know, there's been huge shifts and changes. And to be honest, I think that will just speed up. You know, I think that will just continue. The evolution of that will just touch more and more and more souls. You know, and the people that come in again, you know, being born, they're going to really benefit from that energy, that collective energy that is created. And I think it is in this way that we really change the world, you know, that we live in.
Totally. I'm so excited about this, because the generations, or our wounds, I'm very much into healing our wounds from our ancestors or within us. You know, I think we can impact not only future generations, but what has come from you know, our past ancestors. So in terms of your work, you talk a lot also about ancient African traditions. So I would like you to tap, like, how this influenced your work as well, because I think for me, we all come from Africa. We are all human beings, but most of the origins of humanity comes from Africa. So in a way, it's something that we all should honor, but also how did that impact your work, or how do you believe it could benefit people to tap into the roots of humanity as well, now that we are in crucial times, you know?
So as you know, the subtitle of the book is honoring African spirituality, for that very reason. And partly I wanted to kind of put the record straight, because in some ways we don't always see that kind of beginning, that first person that walked on the planet as an African woman. And, you know, of course, that is where all of us spring from. And so I think to honor that is powerful, and particularly for myself, I really wanted to kind of honor that. And there's a richness in understanding the connections, because when we take things back right to the very beginning of time, we see greater connection between all people. You know, it's like anything. It's like if you have the roots of a tree, and then you have that trunk and everything goes out, and you pick a leaf, this leaf over here looks separate to that leaf over there. But they're not. They have the same history. They're coming from the same kind of bough of the tree. They're coming from the same trunk. They're coming from the same root. And so it's kind of really understanding that. And I think that there's something that is beneficial to all of us,
Yeah.
And not only in relation to how we move on the earth and how we relate to each other,
Yeah.
but also, you know, deeply in ourselves. I think that when we have that understanding and we see that oneness,
I love it.
that there's a real richness in that for us.
Yeah, unity consciousness. I love that. And I love the analogy about the tree, you know. And I always remember this quote of that there's no tree as so foolish to have their branches fighting against each other. And I think that's where humanity and the feminine rising and all these things are the change leaders. We have this vision of unity consciousness. We're all coming together. We are all brothers and sisters. And that's why I feel like your title for me represents that as well, opening to spirit. When you are guided by spirit, we are transcending. For me, at least, my experience has been transforming the human. I'm a human, but also I'm more than human. And spirit, I'm part of something greater than myself, and I'm part of the whole. So that gives you an understanding on how interconnected we are, same as with Native American or other traditions. And I feel for me, my heart, we are going back to that place. But it's stirring a lot of things out from the human mind and the consciousness of the planet, because otherwise we are destroying our, not only other brothers and sisters, but we are destroying the planet, nature, the animals, and everything. So in that sense,
well, I think that in this part of the world,
yeah,
called the West, in this part of the world, it's like we have gone as far as we can.
Yeah.
And so when you move out and you keep going as far as you can, you're going to hit the periphery somewhere. And when you hit that periphery, you find a place of resistance. Mm. And what that resistance causes us then to do is move back towards the center.
Yeah.
We have to come back. And so because we are kind of destroying the planet and upsetting each other and all kinds of craziness, that's not sustainable.
No.
And so nature itself is causing us now to come back towards the center. And we need to do that in a mindful, respectful, and honorable way. Because a lot of the traditions that we are now embracing are the same ones that many people's foreparents dismissed, killed off their ancestors, etc., etc., etc. And so this is another reason why we need to understand the history so that we can do things in ways that are respectful and honorable.
Honorable, I think it's all about honoring each other, honoring the planet, and in terms of energy, because I believe that part of this transition or shift needs to happen from conscious leaders. You know, I love women. I get men saying, why are you teaching or why are you mentoring only women or doing this? But it's not, I'm expanding my work as well. But I feel like as women as well, we have this deep connection with the earth. And there's a shift, at least in terms of energy, where the feminine values are coming back. So I would like you to maybe talk about those women who know they have like a hat or there's many people with a calling of going through the process of their own journey, inner journey, transformation, but they feel like, I don't have energy, I need to get my energy back and my life on track, because if we want to do this work, and I noticed last month, I was really sick for 2 weeks, and I was like, if I don't have energy or I don't have health, I cannot do all the work that I want to do. And that's why I think your work is also vital. If you could tell any person looking to get, you know, their life on track, but also their energy back, or how to align, to go back to the center. A couple of things that you will tell people straight away that can shift their you know, current situation, because they might have the passion, they might have that love, then fear is there in the middle, but also they might not have the courage or the energy to move forward. And I think that's the first step when you want to go out there. If you cannot, you know, really find that energy to pull you, we won't be able to go where we need to go. So what would you say to those people watching?
Yeah, well, you know, Moni, you're absolutely right in terms of what you're saying, because you know, without energy ourselves, of course, we can't do anything for anyone. And there's kind of two simple ways of putting it. We know that nobody can pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
It's not possible. And I think one of the things, I would have said it on your training, is anybody who flies, and I know all of you listening like flying, so if you're a frequent flyer, you probably have your head down. When the hostess is saying, you know, what do they say? What does that hostess say? They do not say, jump up and start trying to rescue everybody on the flight. They don't say that. Even your child, even your baby, you must first, as you just demonstrated, you have to, what was that?
You put the mask first, yeah.
That's
and
right.
Boundaries, right, as well. Yeah,
that's right. You have to put that oxygen mask on first. So that's the first thing. And often we don't do that because we've been raised to think that's selfish, self-centered, you know, all of those kinds of things. But if I want to serve you, then I have to have energy, because otherwise, if my energy is depleted and I'm running on energy, running on empty, one of the things that I say is that energy then that I'm trying to share with you is not the quality of energy that you want or that I want to share.
Yeah.
And so therefore I have a responsibility to make sure that I am elevating my energy, filling my cup, putting my oxygen mask on so that I can serve you. So it's not selfish. It allows me to serve others. Now, there's a really simple way of doing that we did on the training, our energy for life balance.
I love it. And I was hoping that you would share with the audience here.
And so you know that I call this a 2-minute vacation. So let's give it a try. It might be a little bit less than 2 minutes right now, but let's try.
Okay.
So what happens is you take your right hand and you're going to bring that hand over your heart center. Now you may not see this part, but the left hand is going over the sacral chakra, which is just below your navel. So it's on your belly, on that lower part of your belly. Then you're just going to close your eyes gently. And actually, you can just observe what's happening right now as you do that. So what we're doing is we're sending loving energy from our heart center. So loving energy, love and compassion from yourself to yourself. The left hand sacral chakra is receiving that loving energy. And this is also acting as a very gentle tranquilizer on your system and giving a huge boost to your immune system. So all those lovely things that we need. And you should feel that nice calming energy. So you can do this for 2 minutes, 5 minutes. But I just wanted to show you. So if you want to just take a deep breath right now. And then just gently release your hands. And just open your eyes when you're ready.
Yeah, just like I'm feeling ready, just like I'm in this.
Yeah, so just having an awareness of how you feel, you know, just have an awareness of how that feels different. It's so simple, so simple. And you asked me to share 2 things. And so I think the other thing that I would share, so that's a kind of practical exercise. But the other thing that I would like to share is around our mindset. And I think just really, really simply, we've talked a lot about respect.
Yes.
Talked a lot about honoring.
Yes.
And I think ultimately learning to listen to yourself, learning to honor yourself. I talked about falling in love with myself.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't fall in love with myself because I'm a real amazing kind of anything. I fell in love with myself because that's my self. That's myself. And so it's for each of us to fall in love with ourselves, to come back home to self. Yeah, to re-enter that place of kind of elevated energy, because we're listening, we're honoring ourselves. And when we do that, we walk in the world very differently. And then the things that we desire, the things that we seek, the things that we want from someone else, all of those things start to kind of be available to us in a very, very different way. When we start to just honor ourselves. So if your voice, if your inner voice is saying, you know, that this is enough now, the way I'm showing up in the world is not right, it's not comfortable, I'm not able to express myself, I'm exhausted, I'm overwhelmed, then listen.
Yeah.
Listen to that. And if you're being called to make changes right now, listen. Because life, you know, life is short. So really, it's about honoring yourself.
I feel this is so beautiful, and I so much resonate with you because I've been in that internal journey back home, and that's why I feel that's what you were talking about when you wrote the book. You were looking to put all together your experience, and I think when it's about embodiment of our true nature, I feel, but also what you say about you do it from a different place. I think it's when you are giving from the overflow, that's a much different energy as well. But if we are not bringing awareness in our body, for me, this last month was a lot about the body. And February is the month of daring to love again, meaning I love myself already, but there is always awareness that we can bring back when we are out of alignment or out of balance. And I think energy is like, if we don't have energy, as I say, we don't have health, we cannot go there and impact the people that we might want to serve or impact. Because for me, it's all about serving, but if I'm not serving myself, making the conscious choices, then it's not possible to share that from that space. And I think for people, we are in interesting times of change, and bringing awareness to when something doesn't feel right, or what you say about the awareness on the energy, which the body is very, if we listen the body, we listen to ourselves, I think we can definitely transform life like you did in your career, and you have impacted so many people. And for me, I'm passionate about and doing the work that I'm doing, but also inspiring other people that they can be that change they want to see in the world, and it starts within us. If we are back home, everyone goes back home, we can really become that beautiful tree that it's happy and blossoming. And I would love you, because I honor you and your time, and I know we are ending our conversation or our interview, but I really want you to share how people can work with you or contact you or anything, if they want to interview, if they want to have you as a speaker talking about energy or all the amazing work that you do. What's in your plate for 2019? What are you going to be doing? I know you have amazing things on the pipeline, but I would like you to share, and obviously I will put the links below about the books and about the Energy for Life work, but anything else you want to share with people watching this, that would be very great.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, you know, the book is a really great place to start. So as you say, we can have the links to the book. Mm-hmm. I also think the Energize Your Life online course, because that is something that people can tap into. Yeah. Obviously, you can do it in your own time, and it covers all of the different aspects that are on the main training.
Yeah.
And of course, if you really want to make those massive changes in your life and you want to support other people to make those changes, then the same as Moni has done already, trainers to become an Energy for Life wellness coach. And of course, we'd love you to do that. We're going to put the link below for the training program. So they're the main things I would suggest: the books, the online course, and the training for those that are called to do that. And what I'm going to be doing, you know what I started doing yesterday? Yes, so you're getting the inside
that's news, flashing news.
What I just started doing yesterday was writing and this is amazing that I'm actually saying it now.
I was about to ask you, are you writing another book? Hold on.
I'm writing a biography.
Oh my goodness.
I am actually writing my story.
My goodness.
And the book is going to be called Grace.
Oh, I love it.
Grace. And so I literally just started doing that yesterday. So I'm quite excited about that.
Oh.
I'm doing quite a lot of work in the States, which I'm loving. So I'm going to be in the States later in the year. We have our transformation vacation. So transformation vacation is in Grenada.
Wow.
We have our training. I am going off to get some awards in the States later on in the year.
Congratulations.
As well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they're the main things.
Wow, there's nothing, right? Life is good.
And also
about age or birthdays or anything, but like I think like if people see your life, but it's like this is real work that works if you embody it, because you know you have been doing this for 30 years, but we won't talk about your age, but like you look like 20 years younger than your actual age, and I think that's why I'm so passionate about energy, about bringing people in joy and really back to their self, because then everything transforms. People is telling me as well, like, you look younger than, and it's not about this, it's the energy, it's not the body.
It's energy.
And the foods as well. Yeah.
And the food and the exercise, all of those things. But I have a big birthday coming up this year. A real big birthday, which I'm just, I just give thanks for. I just really give thanks.
Yes.
I give thanks for everything. And I always say as well, give thanks for all, no matter how small. And I think being in that place of gratitude as well has got to be responsible for removing some of the lines on one's face, Yeah. just being able to be in that place of giving thanks and gratitude.
Yeah.
So, and I think what I will also do, Moni, is give you, I'm going to find something that I think would be really useful for your listeners, which is our 10 life hacks for raising energy and rocking 2019.
I love it. Because we need a lot of that for 2019. It's a year of change, of unity, but also we are called to step up. At least for me, it's all about action, but in a flow state, in that state of energy flowing. And that's why it's so important to get that. So I'm very grateful that you are serious in that.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure that you get those links so that you can share those things. And they're simple things, because I'm all for being able to do things like our Energy for Life balance that literally just take a couple of minutes.
Yes. If you don't have a couple of minutes for yourself, then, there needs to be some deep thinking about what the priority is. And I think it's all about going back to the self. If we are not able to be in that space of, like you say, honoring and respecting deeply ourselves, then it's when it comes to self-love, and then you are able to serve others and
that's right.
Spirit,
Yeah.
And spirit will lead you. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that's when we can really be at greatest service.
Yeah. I'm so grateful. Yeah, I'm so grateful that my life just like you say, I think we are called sometimes to take action. I remember many times the day that I went through the exam, and I was crying because I cry many times. It never ends. I told you I'm on my knees sometimes because I'm asked to level up or to.
That's right.
And it's like, this is too big for me, and it's not that I'm in drama. It's because it really, when you deeply care and love something, there's always something else that you need to let go, or to really look into yourself when you are out of integrity, or you're not doing something that you need to be doing, like taking care of the body, eating better, managing the energy. And I think that's why all this work, it's so important, and I wanted you to come and share this, because I know it's going to be impacting even more people, and I'm looking forward to see your work and your vision even flourishing more and more and touching more lives.
So let me just say as well that I sometimes share your story as well, because as you've just said, because things are not always easy. And I know that when you completed your training and you didn't pass immediately, and I remember coming back to do that additional work, and it's always a challenge for me when I need to ask someone to come back and to say, you're going to need to do this in order to get to the standard that we really want you to be at.
Yeah.
And I remember, like you said, there was tears, but at the same time, I can also remember you saying how valuable it was for you.
Yeah.
That it was so valuable to go through that process, to return to things, and then to see the transformation that you have made, see what you're doing now, to see the work that you're doing, your own writing, to see how you're showing up on purpose in the world is very, very inspirational for people who are starting their journey with me.
Yeah.
So, you've really done amazing, and I'm very, very, very proud of what you've achieved. It's wonderful. So thank you so much for inviting me today.
Thank you for crossing my path. And yes, it's not, people think like they see whatever you're doing outside, like if it's second nature to you. And I always say I'm speaking in front of more than 200, 300 people because I have this calling, but to serve, but also it comes with the responsibility of knowing where you are. I had so much resistance that day. I was crying on the way back, but I was upset with myself. But this still happens nowadays when I know there's something that needs to let go. And it's having the courage to choose you and choose the calling, and hearing the calling and say, yes, I'm ready to do this because I'm not alone. I have support. The spirit will support you. Teachers will support you. And we all inspire each other. So thank you so much for inspiring me and for crossing my path and for sharing your wisdom with people. And I will put the links below. And I hope that we see your biography coming very soon. I had in mind, Spirit was saying, like, I think there's another book coming. So I think it's so on time as well for your facing this life and the work that you're going to be doing. So I'm so excited for you. And yeah, thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you, Moni. Thank you very much.